What's up, YouTube? It's me, the Artisan MC, and today I'm going to review for you X-Men 97, Episode 10, the finale, Extinction is Tolerance, or Tolerance is Extinction, Part 3. Well, yes, I am quite pleased with how this show ended. Now, I can be honest and say that about halfway through this, it seems like a little bit of a speed run for some stuff to tie up some of these loose ends. But the leaves, the things that they leave you with. uh, Now I'm half debating because I just stopped the credits. Okay, and now I'm recording this review. So I'm thinking, how much do I want to say, given how much time it may take me to edit this and put it out? By the time I do that, everybody might see everything. So it would be no need for me to hold back on the review. Hmm. Uh, Stuff. Mm. Well, so you get into this finale, and it picks up right where, pretty much where the last one ends. And what you have is basically a flashback where you have Xavier and Magnus, or Eric, sitting in a bar in a war torn country, having a conversation about humanity and mutants, and revealing to each other for the first time that they are mutants, and coming up with the idea of shepherding these mutants that are emerging, to teach them values and how not to humanity, how not to hate them, but to share their gifts. And for the most part, this it's a good, callback to what most people would only have seen in comics, right? Of what they were when they were younger, like an origin story in a sense. What you tend to find out as it goes on is that this is not a flashback. This is Xavier in Magneto's mind trying to get through to him. Now, I told you guys before that while this show is very good on merging multiple stories from the X-Men comic books together into one show, very good in the storytelling and the character depictions, does make errors sometimes. It's not perfect. It's not a perfect show. As good as it is, it's not a perfect show. It does make errors. And this is when the first error shows up in this for me. That while I'm on board with the fact that Xavier is inside Magneto's mind, messing with him a little bit. The last episode, we saw that Xavier had Magneto's helmet on, which would dampen his telepathic powers. And he was pinned to the floor by metal. Now, in this episode, he's in Magneto's mind immediately after Magneto has ripped the adamantium out of Wolverine. And he doesn't have Magneto's helmet on. Now, how that happened, how'd he get free? I don't know, but it is done, and he is begging Magneto to reverse what he did to the Earth so he can save the Earth. And Magneto is like, no, no, never do that. They had their chance. And so Xavier apologizes to Magneto and forcefully goes into his mind to access his powers and takes control of Magneto's body and reverses the EMP himself. Now, this part, this is another faux pas for me too. How I understand an EMP to work is that when an EMP goes off, it fries the electric circuits that are running at that time. They're dead. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't put electricity to it again. It doesn't. But it does mean it's not going to work. Now, Xavier flipping whatever Magneto did with the electromagnetic poles to the planet is not like turning on a light switch. Okay? Yes, he may have corrected the magnetic situation on the planet so the planet doesn't die. It has this magnetic shielding from solar rays and all the rest of that. Yeah. But that is not a reset button for everything electronic. That's not how that works. You have to bring in new circuits to replace the ones that are burned out that were active during the EMP. It just doesn't give power now and recharge everything. That's not how it works. So for me, it's a faux pas that all those Prime Sentinels just came back to life. No, they wouldn't. But it makes for some good storytelling. Now that's two faux pas right there. Still not taken away from the story because you do get the iconic scene of Xavier forcing himself with a huge mental blast into Magneto's mind that you would have seen in the comic books, right? Okay, that's all well and good. Meanwhile, back in the Galapagos, Cable is on the ground trembling at the little lake where he has defeated Jean Grey and she has slipped beneath the water. And Sinister's there having a good toothy grin while Bastion shows up in an upgraded form, showing that he has captured the other members of the Gold Team and actually knows about Cable's number of attempts to try to stop him from emerging to this point. Because at this point, he can feel all the Sentinels again. All the Prime Sentinels are active again. And they are going on with their mission. So, under Sinister's control and at his directions, Cable starts giving information and gives a bit of a reveal of how he feels about not being able to stop Bastion or his parents. And in that moment where it looks like everything is lost for a bit, something stirs in the little lake that they're in front of. And what emerges is Jean Grey with the powers of the Phoenix. The Phoenix comes back. Now, how she taps into the Phoenix without it actually coming to Earth, it seems like a little bit of an error to me because how I understand it, the Phoenix does not reside in Jean Grey. It doesn't. The only version of the Phoenix that actually resided within Jean Grey in her power set was the one from Ultimate Comics. That the Phoenix was an outgrowth of Jean using all of her power. That in the Ultimates line, her powers were kind of blocked off by Xavier with mental blocks. So she didn't have access to all of them, kind of like Gambit with his powers, right? And unlocking those blocks is what gave her the ability to turn into the Phoenix because she had full access of all her power. Now, in this show, her just calling on the Phoenix and saying that the Phoenix was there. I don't know. I don't know if the Phoenix inhabited Jean because it understood that host for the Phoenix was in danger or what. I don't know. But I don't understand clearly how she was able to turn into the Phoenix without the Phoenix showing up. But everything that happened was some Phoenix shit. She was remaking matter and moving things around and everything. Now, one of the coldest things she did, which goes to my point that I made on Sunday, was getting a hold of my boy Sinister and ripping the genetic code for all the powers that he had absorbed out of him. Now, I said this yesterday, not yesterday, but Sunday on The Hero's Journey. I was making this point and asked this question to everybody. If Sinister is a mutant, name his original power. He didn't have one. Nathaniel Essex didn't have any power. He's not a mutant per se. He's mutated, but not a mutant. And you saw that in this episode when the Phoenix pulled all those genetic codes out of him and reduced him to just an old, wrinkled up man. He had no powers because he never did. Now, that was kind of cool for me because it showed this point. And reducing Sinister to an old man Nathaniel Essex was up. Got to bring back the Ducks for that one. But it was messed up. It was a really messed up thing, a way to for him to get his comeuppance, in a sense. Now, with Bastion having enough of these X-Men down here in the Phoenix Force, he puts a little bit of a whooping on them and flies up into space in the effort to bring down Asteroid M on the planet with the help of these other Prime Sentinels that he has. Now, Jean gets a telepathic message to Scott about what's going to happen, and they prepare themselves, the blue team prepares themselves to do battle with Bastion on Asteroid M. Now, when he gets to Asteroid M, he's going after their gravity drive, which I don't know why they have a gravity drive at all. From my understanding, Magneto just pulled this piece of rock up there, cobbled it together from some other stuff. I didn't think he had a drive. I thought he moved it if it needed to be moved. Be that as it may, they have a power source, and Bastion comes up there to go after it, to bring the asteroid down on the planet, which is, to me, another faux pas with it having an engine, because he just pulled this thing up from underwater, right? It was sunk in the ocean. Would that drive still work? I don't think so. But whatever. When Bastion gets aboard Asteroid M, it is a fight. And Rogue has a very good line, which she reminds him that his name was Gambit. Remember it. And starts the fight with Bastion going straight hands through Asteroid M, out in space, down to the blue section of the moon, fighting in front of what would be, I would think, Apocalypse's little moon base. And they have a good brawl. They do have a good brawl. You get to see the capabilities of Bastion in his second coming form with the wings and whatnot. And it's pretty cool because for me, I never read Second Coming. So I don't know this part about Bastion. So it's interesting to see what abilities this body that he has is able to do. He's a problem. He's a beast right now. and even standing up to Rogue's pounding, he's healing from it. Sunspot joins the fray and helps out with trying to take on Bastion, but he fights his way back onto Asteroid M. In which case, the rest of the X-Men get a chance to go at him before they are kind of taken down, and there's a brief pause in the battle. Now, while Scott tries to rationalize with Bastion, another OG Sentinel shows up and lands on top of Bastion, and it is the Gold Team. That they have rejiggered, Forge and Beast have rejiggered a Sentinel and used it to fly up to Asteroid M to join the fight. And this is where you get something different happening, where the X-Men are ready to brawl, but Scott takes a different approach and actually tries to talk to Bastion and offer him a place on the team. And what you found out in this episode a little earlier was that Bastion's mother lied to him. She told her son that she went to Xavier and Xavier turned her away. Not that Xavier actually wanted that boy to come to his school and she turned him away. Now that's kind of par for the course in America. I'm surprised they put it in this show. I'm glad they did, to show how children are manipulated and lied to, and can turn them, those lies and manipulations can turn them into a problem for a whole host of other people because they never had the right information to begin with, no truthful information to begin with. Now, Bastion kind of scoffs at Scott's offer, trying to appeal to him. And before he can make a real decision, we see missiles flying up from Earth and striking Asteroid M. Now, this goes into the Magneto protocols, and President Kelly had to make a choice on leaving the asteroid alone or trying to deflect it or take it down. He chose the nuclear option. So he sent missiles up. Stupid, but okay, somebody got to do something dumb. The fact that the missiles hit Asteroid M and it starts coming down makes it a planetary problem. It's doing exactly what Bastion wanted to do anyway. Big enough rock, throw it into the Earth, nuclear winter will take care of everything else. Okay, so the X-Men are pressed into service to try and stop this asteroid from falling and hitting Earth, which takes the use of most of them using their powers. Scott cutting loose with his optic blast, Jean trying to stop it with telekinetics, Storm trying to help it stop it with lightning, Rogue trying to stop it by flying underneath it and doing the Superman and trying to push it back up. You know, they have to use everything that they have to try to stop it, and it doesn't necessarily work. Now, what does work is something that's happening interspersed in this episode, which is after Xavier takes control of Magneto's powers and uses it to reverse the magnetic fields on Earth, in Magneto's psyche, he doesn't know who he is. Now, the first thing I said when I saw this was Joseph, that for a time there was Joseph in comics that was with the X-Men who looked like Magneto. He had all Magneto's powers, but he didn't really have a history. You know exactly who he was. He's like a clone. And the whole time I'm watching this, that's what I'm yelling. I'm yelling Joseph, right? Magneto with no memory of who he was. But Xavier is constantly working with him, still in his mind, because they're linked together, to try to get him to remember who he is. Now, after some time going through, his trauma from his childhood, Magneto remembers who he is and wakes up out of this pseudo coma he was in and uses his magnetism to grab Asteroid M and take it back into space. Now that's cool. It shows Magneto's strength, something that none of the X-Men can do together. He is able to do by himself. It shows the nature of his powers. Well, when they get the asteroid back up into the space, it disappears from existence. And as soon as I saw this, I knew what it was. It wasn't an explosion. That looked like time travel. And sure enough, when you get to the next scenes, you see X-Men dropped off in different time periods. Now, the first one, I knew exactly what it was as soon as I saw it. Now, I did say on my Patreon stream that the way it looked initially looked like the white hot room for the Phoenix, but it wouldn't make any sense because Rogue was there. But when I saw sand dunes and people wearing Pharaoh costumes and stuff, like, I know exactly what it is. I know exactly what it is. That's a problem, but it's a good one in a sense because this group of X-Men are back in time. And they're back in the time of Asabo Nur before he became Apocalypse, the first mutant Apocalypse. That is cool as shit to me. It's so much fun for me because they show guards attacking him or the Pharaoh's guards attacking him and them fighting them off and helping him. But then they also show the cityscape. And in the cityscape, you see Chronopolis. That means Kang the Conqueror is there in his Ramesses garb. That's so much fun to me. Just understanding what is there to be tapped into. Damn, they get to go up against Kang with Asabo Nur, who doesn't know anything about X-Men or mutants or anything at this point in time. He is young. I think that's cool as shit. Right? Now, the other X-Men, Scott and Jean, end up way in the future. And I got absolutely giddy when I understood where they were in the future. Because for me, they were in Cable's time. And sure enough, when they get surrounded by people and they start coming up, and I'm looking at how they're dressed, I'm like, oh shit. It's Rachel. It's Rachel Summers. Mother Askin. This is where Cable was trained. And sure enough, the next thing you see after she tells them how to address her, you get a young Nathan Summers strolling out. And I'm giddy as hell thinking, great, now we get the adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix, known as Red and Slim to Nathan when he was a boy. I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. That's so much fun for me. So the reveal of that, leaving it with a to be continued was cool, but they forgot one thing, and this is the other error that they forgot. When it showed the line to be continued, they needed the voiceover from the original show, which would come on and say, to be continued. Just like really grim and dire. Like, to be continued. Like, holy shit, that sounded dark. That's what was missing. That was the only thing that was missing from that. But otherwise, I was happy as hell. I saw a lot of stuff in this episode that I really liked, and it gave me a lot of looks forward to stuff I could see in second season that I would enjoy. The Adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix, running with young Cable in the future. Oh yeah, I'm all for that. I just want to watch that and then wait for them to call him Red, call Cyclops Red, or excuse me, not Red, call Cyclops Slim, and call Jean Grey Red, and for them to understand that Rachel Summers is Mother Askin, that is Jean and Scott's daughter, that Nathan Summers, the daughter of Scott and Madeline Pryor, is actually being trained by his younger sister in the future. Oh my God, I like time travel stuff. Now, beyond that, I want to see the X-Men, Xavier and Magneto, dealing with and teaching Asaba Nur about what mutants are and understanding, yes, you could get Horsemen of Apocalypse in this. Why? Because Asaba Nur is not Apocalypse yet. And seeing these mutants flying around and being able to do the things that they can do, he may base his Horsemen of Apocalypse on them when they leave. Now, they have a way back because Kang is in the Chronopolis, right? The Pharaoh. They could find a way back to their own time. But it'll be a damn fun story to see them interacting with one of mutant kind's worst threats. Worst threats. Now, the only person left out of this, in a sense, is Jubilee, Sunspot, Cable, and Forge, because they're still in present time. But with Cable still there and some knowledge of the future, might be all right. Now, the other thing is in a different time, in the Days of Future Past timeline, you have Bishop showing up again and introducing himself to an older Forge and how they need to go find the X-Men in the time stream to build a team. It's too many good leaves in this. It's too many good leaves in this. Any one of these 4 stories I would show up for in the season 2. But in the season 2, we're going to get all 4 of those. You have to. Now, as I understand it, season 2 is already done. Beau DeMayo wrote it. It's already done. Awesome. Season 3 is so-so. But what I found out today is that apparently the rumor is that Beau DeMayo wrote 5 seasons. He had 5 seasons for this done already. So this second part is the second part of a 5-part arc. Oh my goodness. That's wonderful. That is some J. Michael Straczynski type of deal, like he did with Babylon 5. He wrote 4 seasons of it flat out, so you could just plot along and do it. I am so down for that. I am so down for this. And I'm pleasantly surprised about what I saw, and I'm giddy about the future of what I could see. And for me as a geek, that's the best position to be in after watching something that is made for geeks. That's the best position to be in. So thank you, Marvel. I ain't said that in recent months. Thank you, Beau DeMayo, for putting the love and the care for these characters into it and really trying to give the fan base something that they can look up to and hold up as, look, these are the characters that we love done right. And yeah, thank you to the fans that came out to watch this to see, wow, this was actually good. This was actually really good. So that's it. I'm sure I left out some stuff, which is fine. I'll get into it on the hero's journey this Sunday. at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. But for now, I'm going to leave you with that. X-Men 97, Episode 10, Tolerance is Extinction, Part 3 was a banger. It was a banger. Like every episode of this show was a banger. That's the weirdest thing. 10 episodes, all good. Oh my God. I can't wait for season 2. They're going to have to put up an alert sooner or later to let us know when season 2 is coming so I can be ready for that, because I will be jonesing, scratching my neck like a crackhead. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Like, share, subscribe. Support the stream if you feel so inclined. And when you subscribe, click that bell so you get alerts when I go live during the week. I have been Artisan MC, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.